I lost the plot.
Okay, I'm also ready.
Or I know we're live streaming right now. Welcome
Wow.
everybody to the Kaleidoscope Season 7 Deadly Sins Cast Assessment. I'm one of your prod members, Jacob Adorno. If you don't know me, uh, look it up, Google it. But I'm here joined with All-Star from Season 5, Sean Dyro. We have the train conductor himself, Topher, somewhere next to Jen. We have Jennifer as well. And joining us is season 8 winner, Zach. And we're here starting to talk about and break down this cast. We have 21 players to assess here. Some familiar faces that some of you may recognize from seasons past. Um, I'm gonna share my screen. And where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. And yes, I was doing on the select. Oh, look at that. So we got the cast assessment on here. We got 21 people. We'll do them in alphabetical order. We have the tribe divisions on each slide. And first up is a new person, I believe, to the org community. First up, we're gonna talk about Aaliyah. Anyone want to go first?
So I'll start. Um, Aaliyah, I obviously this is like Jacob said, she's a newbie, so we don't know her. But we do know one of her best friends, the iconic Morgan Collins, who recommended her to play this game. So she was very excited to fill out an application. And we're very excited to have her. And I just love seeing like eagerness out of players, especially newbies. So I'm excited to see what she has to bring.
I'm just really excited because she's a woman. I can't take this so real for that. Um, I have no idea what to expect from her because I've recruited a couple. Does anyone know if like she knows like Survivor? Like not like so no as in you don't know or no as in she does not know.
Well, according to what Mac had wrote down, she hasn't even seen it.
Oh shit. Okay, so that was my impression that she does not know what she's getting herself into, kind of just trusting Morgan's recommendation. Maybe like Morgan would talk about, it's like, oh my gosh, I want to try that. And I'm kind of excited to see how well she does. I think the really difficult thing to like gauge with her as a player is because like she hasn't watched, she has nothing to like try to like model her like strategy or like her philosophy of the game after, and she's gonna like have to pick everything up. But I'm not gonna count her out just yet. I just from just the vibe I get, I think she will be able to get along with a couple of people. There's a couple of people on this tribe specifically. I think she'll gravitate towards. Um, there's a couple newbies here. I think a lot of people that are disconnected, and I think if this cast was a bit more connected, they just neglect Aaliyah and just like not care to like pick her up as a number, but her amongst other people, I think, have like a good chance here. And so I hope that maybe she'll be taken under someone's wing, kind of stay under that person's shadow for a little bit, and kind of reap the benefits afterwards and shank them if she needs to. That's my hope for her.
Also excited to see her play. And according to what Mac wrote down, she's been wanting to play since season 6 ended. So hopefully like her eagerness and like just wanting to be here plays off.
Yeah, so this will quickly become a theme during this cast assessment. I don't know any of these people, or majority of these people, so I'm going purely based off of the intro videos. But Aaliyah seemed very excited in her intro video, and there was one phrase of hers that stuck out to me that she's like an out there person, but it's like she doesn't want to be too out there, and she doesn't like people that are too out there. Um, I think that's a very good trait to have in Survivor games to be visible, but not too visible. I'll have to look at her tribe again to see if there's anybody that's super out there on her tribe, maybe. Um, but that gives me good signs. My main worry with her is because she's friends with Morgan. Morgan's a good game player, but my worry is that she's going to try to play too much like Morgan, and the way Morgan plays is very difficult to pull off. I want to see her develop her own gameplay. I think a thing that newbies fall into a lot is under the radarness. They don't know what to do, so they try to just kind of hide for the first little bit. So I think it'll be really interesting to see if she does that or if she kind of goes out front because she isn't really aware of how the game works as much as some of the other people are. But I have good hopes from her. She gave me really good vibes in her intro video. Her talking and then cutting to like her walking around and stuff I thought was funny. So yeah, we'll see how she does.
I think there's someone on her tribe who for sure plays like this. And I just hosted them winning very recently. I was like, that's kind of like their shtick, it's kind of their strategy. And we'll talk about him when we get there. But like I think that's like a connection. I'm immediately thinking of like looking at the tribe. I'm like, okay, I think that's gonna be someone that she's gonna align with and gravitate towards, like because like you mentioned, like, hey, that's she doesn't want someone who's too out there. I think that she is on a tribe that on paper, had it not been for maybe one or two people on there, be very mellow. But we'll see if we'll see how it works. Goes out. Does anyone else have anything to say? It's Topher there. Talk about her. Damn. Well, we move on to our next player. We have Amy. Sean, you have anything to say about Amy?
I don't really know Amy. I'm excited to see her play.
I really like her sleeve. I think it's really cool. I've definitely seen Amy's name around on the Facebook side of the orc community a little bit more. I do think I think she even said this is her first Discord game. So that should be interesting. Just from doing a little bit of snooping on her Facebook, she does know at least one other person on this cast um fairly well. So that would be interesting if they got to a point in the game where they were together, to see how that would turn out. But I mean, she's played orgs before, so she clearly knows what to do. So I don't know. I don't really know her or her gameplay style at all. I don't know what her track record is really like. Um, but I'm curious to see how she does, and um, especially Discord. For people that don't know Discord, it can be very intimidating at first, and I hope she's able to navigate that. That's all.
I mistook her for the Amy that won Power Grab a couple seasons ago. It's like when I first like saw like an Amy in the app pool, I was like, oh, is this the Amy? I'm like, first off, I didn't know if like Chrisanne, like because Chrisanne was on that season. So I was like, oh, maybe Chrisanne got a hold of her. No, it's a completely different person. Um, I don't know her either. I've seen her name around here. I knew that she's been in the game, quote unquote, for a while. And I think that's really like a juxtaposition. Like I think that's like the opposite of a majority of this cast. And one thing that I kind of have seen in these newbie heavier casts is that like someone expresses that they're a veteran, that they're experienced, that's intimidating to a lot of people. Like it's like one or the other. Either they're very an enticing person to align with, oh, because they know what they're doing. Let me learn from them. Let me gain some experience from them. Like them teach me things so I can better grasp the game, or I want them gone because they know what they're doing. Like whether what they're doing is good in the game does not matter because they've done this for a while. So automatically gonna think that there's merit to what they're doing and they're deliberately playing well, or they're under what's the word I'm looking for? Lowballing, or like trying to play playing up pretend like they're not playing as good as they are. I hope Amy's able to connect with some people. I don't know. Amy seems fun. I also, when I saw her picture, that's not how I thought she'd sound. I don't know if that was me. I was thinking like Jane Lynch. Like I don't know why that voice just spoke up to me. It's like that's what she's like. I can't, but no, that's not what she sounds like. She sounds, yeah, get some hero energy from her. I don't know, just from the little that we got. Bowling Queen.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect with her. In terms of intro videos, she kind of gave me the least. And that's not like a dig at her or anything. It was just that hers was very brief. She seems nice. And having knowledge of how these games are run could be very useful to her, especially on um such a newbie dominated season. Her I mean, her tribe seems to be like the tribe that's on the more quiet side. Just from like first look at it, I could be totally wrong. They could be the most talkative people. They could be on night one call for 12 hours. But I'm curious to see how she's going to navigate that, how she's going to navigate her being a veteran of the community. But I I'm assuming she knows what she's doing because she's been around for so long, and I'm very excited to see it.
Anything else? I see Zach maybe joining from a different device very quickly. So Zach's gonna make that transition real quick. Topher, yeah, anything to say? Neat. All right, but so we're gonna move on to the next person we have over here. Same tribe. We got Andrew.
Obsessed with this cast photo. An absolute slay. Today is also his birthday, so shout out to Andrew. Happy birthday. Um, he I he's relatively new, isn't he?
It's like his fourth game or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. But I've seen him play. I believe he played in CTC. I believe he played in the Collective. Um, which are both amazing games. And you know, I really don't know much about him, so I don't know how he played. I think Topher played in his season of the Collective. So that would be so great if Topher was actually here. Um, yeah, he seems like a really nice person. I remember watching him play in the Collective with Topher, and if I remember correctly, I think I'm thinking of the same person. He was in like a peculiar position. I can never say that word. And um it was interesting watching him like climb his way out of it. So yeah, I think he has potential to do really well.
You know, I think it's really peculiar to me about Andrew. Um, Okay, no, I just wanted to use the word somehow. Yeah, he's newer to the community. And he talked about like in his intro video how this is like his third or fourth game in like a year, but like he didn't know orgs were a thing until this year. And one thing I kind of noticed about people who like play a bunch of games back to back to back to back to back, there's that thrill of like starting like a new game, like because now like it's a super exciting new cool thing, but like they get burnout at some point, or like they kind of get like this rush of going far in one game. I was like, I mean, he's like, oh, I'm going to do the exact same thing. It worked for me, then I'm going to work right here. Like, I just hope he doesn't fall into that kind of trick, or like the kind of trap that a lot of new workers kind of fall in. It's like, it worked for me here, therefore it worked for me here. It worked for that specific group of people, for that format, for that twist, for that duration of the game. This game could be longer than the last game he did really well in. This game could be shorter. This cast may be more playable, so he may even do even better if he was going to try to replicate a strategy from a past game. This cast may not react as well to that. Um, and I don't know why I think that speaks to Andrew specifically to me, but I think it's just like I think he's been playing a bunch of games back to back to back to back to back. We got very little breaks from them. I kind of hope that from kind of these newer players, but not newer in the sense that they started this year, not that they're completely new to orgs, not like Aaliyah or something like that, or a couple other people I think have not played a game yet until now, where like he's kind of learned and gotten input from prod. These are the areas you do well in. This is how you excel. This is what you need to work on, and kind of subsequently build up yourself as a better player. That's kind of what I'm hoping from Andrew. I hope he's perceptive enough to know where he may have went wrong in those other games. I think he made at least merge in CTC. I don't know how far he made it into his season of the collective, but I did remember his face, so I at least felt like he was like noteworthy to some degree. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, he seems like a very sweet guy from his intro video. And I love the fit in the cast photo. Um, I think that's a good point from Jacob. I think when you start off in the org community, the first couple games, you're like, oh, this is fun. Oh, I love this. And then you slowly start to get that fatigue. I want to say around like the fourth game to like sixth game mark, where you're like starting to get a little bit tired of it, and maybe you start slacking a little bit in your social game or something like that. I'm interested to see if he gets that fatigue or if he continues as he is. There's another person I don't really know anything about, but just based on his intro video, he seems like he could be like a very nice, talkative guy. I don't think he's going to be like volatile towards his tribe or anything. And I get good vibes.
I don't really know Andrew that well. I do like the fit. Um, I don't know. He for me, my through my eyes, he kind of gives off silent killer. Like I feel like he's a little backstabby, a little, not gonna lie. Um,
I think
I
it's the
hope he proves me wrong.
I think
I
it's the
think he
fit giving it that vibe for you.
yeah, it's like the cape. Like he's clearly like in like a video game where like it's supposed to be a twist that he's the villain at the end, like he's the villain at the end, you know? He's like Sander, you know?
Could be.
If you know.
I'm hoping
If
I'm
you know.
wrong, but if I'm not, hell, yeah.
All right, but we're gonna move on to the next person. Oh wait, my bad. Topher. Got anything to say, buddy? Nah, damn. Well, we're gonna move on to the next person. I don't even. We're not even leaving the A's yet. We're moving on to Anthony.
Um,
Okay,
I don't really know Anthony. I know that Chrisanne recruited him, and I really love his vibe from his intro video and his action shot. Just seems like an absolutely amazing person. But I don't really know much about him. Um, but his energy is great, and I think that will get him decently enough through the game. I don't think he'll be an early boot. Um, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't really know him, so I don't know.
I definitely agree with that. Just based on his intro video, he seems very like comfortable talking to people or just talking out loud. I didn't really hear any stuttering or anything, and that shows confidence to me. I don't know his track record or anything like that, but in terms of like what I foresee for him, I definitely see him at least making merge, especially on his tribe where the majority of the tribe is a little bit more outspoken, and if he's able to hone his like conversation skills and just speak like that, like he spoke in his intro video to other people without it being too threatening, I could see him making a lot of ground early on. um I think it's especially noteworthy that he said he was dumbing himself down in his intro video. So I'm excited to see the full extent of his thought process throughout his project, because who knows, he might be like a strategic mastermind. It's too early to tell. But yeah, I'm very excited for him. He's one of the people that I felt the best about just going through the intro videos.
wait, because like he mentioned that in his intro video. It's not like he put this in the application. Like he put that out in the video that we're gonna like compile them together and they're gonna see, right? I got like I just want
What
to
do you
confirm.
mean?
I just want because like so he mentioned the fact that he was dumbing himself down in the Meet Me video.
No, in his
Uh,
prod
uh,
chat.
okay. I was
No,
nervous. I was like,
I would be docking points like crazy if he said
yeah.
that in his video.
I mean, look, I just hosted somebody who did the same thing. It's like I'm gonna be a villain. I'm gonna backstab people. I'm like, you know that people are gonna see this. Okay, so that was my concern because I felt really good about Anthony too. And I was like, I just know he was just talking about animals. He showed off his dog. Like I think Anthony gives off the air of somebody that like in the preseason, like you'd pick as a winner, unlike Big Brother. You know what I mean? Like this is kind of like all like the attributes I look for. Just like a personable enough guy. I think will be a very affable figure, and I think Zach makes a really good point. Like looking at his tribe, I think half of them are going to kind of take the back seat. I think half of them are kind of just going to be rather docile, low key kind of players, and then the other half, I think, from my experiences, at least with two of them, are very outspoken and out there. And I think Anthony's going to be the perfect medium to where I think he's going to be sociable and extroverted enough, to either connect with or try to pacify some of these people. Like maybe he might find his closest ally in one of those three more outspoken people, or he could also has the understanding of like, okay, I gotta take a back seat, kind of like with these other half of these people that kind of be a bit more chill on the tribe. So I'm excited to see if I'm right in that assessment. I just get good vibes with him, but I also got good vibes from Christian last season, and we all know how that panned out. I was like, oh, Christian's a dark horse. People are sleeping on my boy, and then he really got first booking. Man,
Christian for second chances,
I
TBH.
agree. I agree.
I don't really know Anthony, but I like his vibe. Um, he watching his Meet Me video, he kind of reminds me, or like, I feel like the gameplay he's going to play kind of gives me off like a Juan from season 5. He gave the right amount of energy. His social game was up to par, and he was really well liked for the most part. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see him play.
And Topher, do you, you have anything to weigh in on Ethan? I thought he was there the whole time. I don't know why. I thought he was just nodded off. I was like, I wish
Wait, you
Topher
think
was here.
Topher would be here and not talking?
I I I I, I had faith in Bucket, but we're gonna move on. I think we finally escaped the A's. We're gonna move on to our next play. Never mind. I lied. I was wrong. I was so confident. I thought I knew who was next. No, it's Austin, our first returnee, captain, as a matter of fact. Um, did they want to go first? I don't.
I love Austin. Austin was somebody that I think we can all say we were shocked when he went home last in season 6. Definitely gone too soon. I think he won that award, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Definitely somebody who is very he got very screwed the way that he went home too. Um, but he's just so likable and he played a really really good social game, and I was very excited when uh he accepted a spot in this season because he was one of my favorites. I don't have favorites, but I mean, you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm really excited to see him play again this season, and I hope this with all the returnees. I hope that people don't look at them as returnees and be like, oh, like we need to target them just because they're returnees, because I think that's lame. Um, Especially since he was pre-merge. Um, hopefully he'll be able to use that more to his advantage to be like I'm not a threat, I was pre-merge. So I have a lot of hope for him.
Um, yeah, I'll say it. Robbed so fucking hard. Unfortunately, the victim of the Jungle Journey's one and only Coach Cookie. But no, I'm excited to see Austin play again. He was one of the most positive social players on that season. And I'm excited to see him play again with maybe a less volatile cast. His tribe is the one I'm most excited to see play out because it looks like such a range of just characters. Um, but I'm very excited to see where he lands in that. I think he's the type of player that can attach himself to anybody he needs to. Um, and I think that's very important, especially with how this pre-merge is going to go, where more likely than not, you're going to tribal at least once. Um, Especially with it being such a long pre-merge too. So I think he's one of the players on that tribe that's most likely to make inroads with other people there. And I'm excited to see more of his strategic mind because we saw a little bit of it in season 6, but I think he's got a lot more going on than we were able to see because we only got to see him play in the pre-merge portion. Um, Out of the returnees, if I had to bet on one of them making the farthest, it would be Austin.
I was gonna say, like, I was like in my head, I'm like, well, I know that for the other two returnees, they naturally made it very far. So like it's gonna be very like the likelihood of them somehow beating their placement, especially for one of the like for one of them, it requires them basically making it to final tribal council for them like to do better, like from like a placement standpoint. But I'm like, I genuinely just have a better feel and a better idea of how I think Austin will do on this tribe than the other two captains do on their respective tribes. So it's not just the fact of like, oh, like he's the least imposing in the event that they do look at these like returnees as like actual legitimate threats because he didn't make it to merge. Um, you're right. To confirm with Jen, yes, he did get most raw pre-juror on his like that. I just remember waking up that morning. Austin was not going home, and just like a myriad of things had to play out. Like Nick used his immunity necklace on himself, pretty much proclaimed himself. There was like a fear that he would also do this to Coach RC. He was proclaiming he would do it all day. Tried to snipe Seb. Austin just got caught in the crosshairs, and Austin did. I remember obviously Austin did things for him to be in the crosshairs, but didn't do that much wrong to be like voted out then and there. So I have tons of hope for Austin. And on this cast, like Zach said, I think characters, I don't think is the word I'd use. I'd use maniacs instead from the people who I do know on this. There's two specifically. I would pay money, and I don't need to pay money to see those two interact because they're going to on the tribe. I'm just like, just I think that Austin will be the one guy. Like everyone's gonna be fighting, everyone's gonna be bickering, and everyone's gonna say, "I hate everybody except Austin." He like you know, like the SpongeBob meme of Mr. Krabs kicking everybody out. It's like, except you could stay. I think the you could stay will be Austin for a majority of the people on this tribe. And I hope I'm not hyping him up because like I remember last season I had high hopes for him as well. And of course he got sniped super early. I think he should make merch. I think he should be his place. I mean, obviously it's gonna be the easiest of the three to do so, but I have high hopes for Austin.
I'm excited for Austin to come back. Um, I feel like y'all touched up a lot of things that I wanted to say. So I hope he does well. And I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't he voted out by the people he was also working with?
Yeah, like Seb voted him out. I don't know what his relationship with Max and Cam were, but like for sure, him and Seb were like this. And I think maybe Seb just did it out of self-preservation. Like I don't know.
Yeah. So I hope he finds the right people this time around and actually has the communication. Whereas I know last season, like his social game was there, but when times in need, he wasn't active for them, from what I'm trying to remember. But I hope he does well.
Okay, now we left the A's. We're good. I double checked. I see 5 A's. We're getting to a C. Good. We did it. We made it. This is who I thought it was. Instead of Austin, I thought it was Caitlyn next. I think we have the order. So I think I say I'm gonna talk for I'm not gonna talk first, but it's been Jen, Zach, me, Sean for everybody, I think, except the first person. So I don't know. Floor to whomever wants it.
I'll go ahead. Um, Frankly, I don't know a lot about Caitlyn. I've seen her passively in games. if there's anybody that I'm worried about on that starting tribe, the Pancreas tribe, it is her because I think she will be the most quiet on that tribe, and I think that's a bad thing for this particular tribe. Um, I haven't seen a ton from her. I don't think I've seen her go far often. And I'm hoping she can overcome that. And maybe she has gone far. I don't know. I'm not really in the org community that much, so I don't know these placements. But I think she has to find her people very early on and connect with people quickly, or else I worry for her a lot. But I'm still very excited to see her play because I haven't been able to see her play firsthand. Um, it's just like the manner of how that tribe is laid out, where the majority of, if not the rest of the tribe, is very loud and like outspoken.
So yeah, I'm also gonna. Oh, Jen, you can go if you want. Whatever. Okay. Okay.
I was just gonna say you had already started talking, so you can start.
You're right. Fine. I'm sorry. So Caitlin, on the pancakes tribe, I'm really concerned for. I've hosted her twice very recently, and I know that she infamously played not one, not two, but three games at the same time. She was playing Spellbound, Power Grab, and she was on the Collective. And to her credit, well, to be fair, she had Scott on her circle, so like that's what she was destined to go for. But she did go far. She got like seventh, I think, or something like that, which is not that bad. I so I know the or eighth, like something within that range. Um, I am really worried for her. I know that in both of the times I have hosted her, because I hosted her in Hypnotic as well before Spellbound. She was more on the inactive side. I remember the first day though, she was on it, and there was already people talking about making alliances with her, thinking Caitlyn was super sweet. I think just the issue that I see Caitlyn running into is just she doesn't find that person like that one person that's like gonna fight for Caitlyn, like that one person who's gonna link up with her early on. Caitlyn, you're my ride or die. Let's ride this all the way to the end. So when she comes up in discussion, people are like, I can live with that. Like, is Caitlyn often people's first thoughts or first ideas to target? Maybe not, because Caitlyn's a nice person. Caitlyn's not doing anything to ruffle any feathers or deceive people or backstab or anything like that. But she's also not doing anything to make her stand out in people in like a social standing. Like she's not going to be high on many people's trust rankings, not because she's doing things that are suspicious, but because she's not doing anything to foster like really good trust with people. And so I think that hopefully like she found her groove in the collective. She was able to make it super far, and she was nominated a couple times. So there was opportunities for her to go home, but she wasn't. So I hope that she can find her groove here, maybe find someone on this tribe that's really going to vouch for her, or maybe due to the outspokenness, maybe she could kind of like hide behind the scenes, like, oh, they're kind of out there, maybe those people are going to target each other. That's kind of my suspicion here. I think those quieter people are going to reap the benefits of the outspoken people making targets of themselves. And I don't see Caitlyn. I think Caitlyn may be the target of that if those outspoken people work together. But that's kind of what I see. The trajectory for the Pancakes tribe. So yeah, Jen, floor is yours.
Um, in like regards to what you were saying about like her game in like the collective is so interesting and I love the format and it's like it's interesting in that like so you have your circle and like those are your ride or dies basically like you like don't really have a choice than to play with these people. So I think that really benefited for a player like Caitlyn because of the way that she tends to play. Like with my experience with her is she, like you guys said, she's so sweet. She's so nice. But in my experience, like I played with her in Hypnotic and I really like I wanted to work with her and I did work with her for a while. But then it's like until you can't anymore. And I don't know if it was just with me or if this is just the kind of player she is, but she seems to, in my experience at least, not give as much information. She kind of like she'll kind of just go along with what you're saying. Like if I were to say like, does this sound good? Yeah, that sounds good. Instead of, it's more like it's not as a much of a collaborative working relationship, if that makes sense. And she's a great person to have in your pocket. She's very loyal. It's just a matter of the strategy. I don't know if she's strategizing as much as someone might be looking for in an ally, and that's the only thing that worries me about her gameplay.
I don't really know Caitlyn. I've seen her around the community. Um, from what I've gathered from each of y'all is she tends to play more like a follower type game. And I'm hoping like this is the game she can showcase like her strategy and that she's more in the upfront than the behind. And yeah,
I think again, like with the people that are on her tribe being a little bit more low key, it might end up benefiting. It really might end up benefiting her if you have all of these, you know, a little bit OTT kind of people that just kind of go for each other. So we'll see. It might benefit her, and maybe she'll go really far with that.
Yeah, yeah, edgically, all these OTTN, OTTM people, maybe it's okay to be INV. Maybe it's okay to be UTR. You don't know, man.
You don't know. It might work out for her. I hope it does, because she really is a really sweet person, and I'd love to see her do really well.
Speaking of I know at least someone on Prawn knows this next player a little well. We're gonna talk about Caleb over here. I got a creeping suspicion someone may want to go first, someone may want to go last. I don't know.
I can go first just to provide a little bit of context because, as far as I know, none of y'all really know anything about him. So I hosted him, and I've been remained close with him after hosting him. I love Caleb. I'm curious to see if he can capture that lightning in a bottle he captured his first time again, because he's only played one game and he made it to the end. Um, and his strategy there was pick one ally, stay close to that ally, never, never, never turn your back on them. And that might have just been because of who the ally was, but Caleb, I think, is really good at putting himself in good situations. Throughout the game, in his starting tribe and throughout the swaps and everything, he was always in a middle position. Throughout the majority of the merge, he was always in the middle position. When it came to targeting either him or his ally, people wanted to target the ally instead of Caleb. I was very impressed with him the first time around. Um, I want to see if he goes for that find one ride or die ally again. And I have a headcanon in my mind of who that ride or die ally would be on his starting tribe. And when we get to that person, I'll talk about it more. But I have very high hopes for him. He has grown to be a lot more cynical on orgs. Um, Following his season, he is a lot less trusting of the goodwill of the org community. So we'll see if that transforms him into sort of a villain. And he was a villain his first time around. He lied, and he's very good at lying. But I always feel good about Caleb. I'm a little bit biased in this, but I expect him to do well.
I have a headcanon too. I want you to send me the name of this person because I think me and you, I don't know if we both have the same person, but I think it'd be hilarious if we do. I'll let someone else talk, but like,
I
I
sent I
think
sent it on Zoom.
Well, why did we get to do it in Zoom PMs? I want to know.
you'll see it
Okay.
when it gets
Oh,
there.
no, I'll just say it out loud. Based on the intro videos and like my perceived personalities of these people, dude, I would love to see like a Caleb Caden duo. I feel like their personalities would match really well. And Caden reminds me of the person that he was a duo with in CTC, to a certain degree. So if there's anybody that he would go with on this tribe, I kind of see almost like a group of three of Austin, Caleb, Caden. I don't know why. That's just forming in my head. And I could be totally wrong, but who knows? That's my headcanon.
Like I kind of when you first said though, there's a headcanon. There's irony with it being Caden because there's a non-zero chance there, my bad. Their number one ally in Hypnotic was someone also named Caleb. So maybe that was part of that, but I was like, no, but I'm just based off of vibes. Um, I like Caleb. I kept closely with that season. One of my best friends played it. Didn't go nearly as far as Caleb did, but like I did still want to follow it closely. Um, but I just remember talking to Buckley very briefly about Caleb as like a player because as you know he's super close with him. And I just remember hearing like he's like this diabolical player. Like he did all this lying and he backstabbed just a bunch of people and like that's a big contributor to why he ended up losing at the end. A lot of people felt sour with Caleb on the way out, and I kind of like fear, he may end up in like that kind of Michael trajectory. He got second place last season where, he had his hands on a lot. He was a culprit in a lot of what went down on that season, but a lot of people go to the jury thinking it's Michael's fault. And there's like a difference, like when you go to like FTC, where it's like you taking responsibility for moves versus jurors thinking it's your fault for certain things happening in the game. It's your fault that I got voted off. It's your fault that this ended up happening to our alliance. Like I have high hopes for Caleb because obviously just how impressive it is. Your first game, you're picking it up, haven't played before, make it all the way to the end. That's no easy feat at all. And I think rookies are on the up and up, just period. So any person who's newer to the community, I don't think that disqualifies them anymore. And there's more seasoned people aren't immediately going to make it further. I think Caleb's one of the people despite me not knowing them, I have the most confident in, probably in the cast, honestly.
Uh, yeah. Just to add on to that really quickly, that you address something that is kind of my main concern with Caleb. From watching him play, and this isn't just for the jury. When he burns somebody, he does not know how to recover that relationship. He does a very poor job of recovery in that sense, not just for jury management, but also while they're still in the game. Like people were actively in the game talking about how much they hated Caleb at some points. But also at the same time, kind of wanted to work with him or wanted to use him as a number. So I want to see him do better in that recovery sense. And we're talking a lot about like merge onwards kinds of stuff here. I think he'll make merge at the bare minimum, but his pre-merge game has always been I felt really good about in his first season just because he's a very active player. And he said he has free time for this right now. But he was one of the most talkative players in his season of CTC, and we'll probably see the same thing here.
I think it's really interesting seeing somebody play their second game because especially with how you guys are describing how he was in his first game, it'll be interesting to see how he like takes what he learned and what he experienced in that one game that he's played and like uses that to better his game. Like, is he gonna learn how to be better with, managing his relationships and things like that? I also really liked little banter that you guys have in his prod chat. I think that's really fun. So I'm excited to get to see him play. Yeah, I mean it's interesting as again, like just going from having like one ally like that you're like a ride or die with. I'm just so curious to see if he'll stick to that same strategy or if he'll try something new. We'll see.
It's just pointing at Sean. I have nothing. I just saw that.
You have anything?
Yeah. Yeah, Susie. Another Kaleidoscope All-Star has
Who?
entered.
Party.
Me?
Yeah, welcome.
I I think I know one person.
How further along are they alphabetically?
I know Laura.
Okay, but We'll get there when we get there.
What letter
Okay,
are we on?
we're on C. It's gonna take a little bit. We got a couple people to get there.
This is player number 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So technically, we've gone over one tribe, like technically. So we're a third of the way done. We did it, guys. We're one third of the way done. We're gonna move
Have
on to
we
our
done
next.
Laura yet? Okay.
It's alphabetical, so no.
Okay.
We're gonna move on to our next player. We're gonna talk about Danny. I'll be the last because I got thoughts. I got words about Danny.
I'll
Good
let you
good
all know
words.
if I know anyone else.
So I just played with Danny in Hypnotic and he won. Danny is amazing. I absolutely love him. He is super sweet and super fun and really great at these games. You know, he's been playing for a long time. My issue that I had with him in Hypnotic was that he was so inactive in the first half of the game. It drove me freaking crazy. And then he, I guess, turned it on in the second half of the game. So I hope he plays more like the second half of the game that he did in Hypnotic. And he there are like quite a handful of people from that season of Hypnotic in this cast. So that is interesting. I think Danny is going to be one of our more connected people on this cast. One of the more experienced people on this cast. So yeah, I'm excited to see him play. He's like one of those people that, you know, you've seen around so much, and like I just love getting to see the behind the scenes of what goes on in these people's brains. He's one of those people that I'm just so excited to see what's going on in his brain. So I'm very excited to see Danny.
I have never met Danny or interacted with Danny, but I've heard about Danny. This is like a name that I have heard on multiple occasions in the community. Um, he gives me good vibes. He gives me very smart vibes. I wish I had more to say on him. His intro video, let me look at it because I'll be able to remember it by looking at the thumbnail. Where is it? Oh, you're just not gonna load on me, Discord. Okay, awesome. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. His intro video didn't give me a ton, but that may just be how he wants to present himself at the beginning. Um, I think Jen, you saying that he wasn't very active at the start of Hypnotic, I think that's important because he might do the same thing here. And I think being inactive in a Survivor game is a lot more dangerous than being inactive in a Big Brother game. Because if you're not active on your tribe, especially a tribe of only 7 people, it's very easy for your name to get thrown out there. And um, I believe, just from what I've heard, I'm confident in his gameplay at a merge phase, but it's just getting to that point with activity. And hopefully he is active. And if he's active, great. I feel very good about him. But that idea of inactivity is what scares me here.
So I've known Danny for a while. I also played in a Big Brother game. Um, I forgot what it's called. It was Benji's word. Oh, Deception. Um, Shout out Deception. And just like in Hypnotic, he was also inactive for the first half of the game, and then the second half he was more active. Um, and I think he ended up getting fourth. But this man will do anything and will get what he wants in a game. He will make sure his point is will be engraved in your head. Um, yeah, I'm excited to see him play and be on the hosting side of things and not as a player because he can be dangerous sometimes.
I would say so. Danny, I hosted him in Hypnotic, and I can also test. not the most talkative person. He's never going to be the most active person. I think that especially in the end game of Hypnotic, of course, like he turned it up. There's less people he needs to talk to and spread out his conversations with. But I think what Danny is so good at is that just and he asked me for a comparison, like for like a Big Brother player, like what Big Brother player he reminds me of. And I'm also gonna. This is probably the first person I'm actually like seriously considering in winner contention for this too, because he reminds me of a past Kaleidoscope winner from Big Brother. I said he reminds me a lot of me Cole from like just like in like hindsight for like how she played, like how he played Hypnotic specifically. He was on this side, like had a bunch of people who made bigger targets in front of them, were constantly trying to flip votes, constantly putting themselves in the limelight. And if that side wins out and someone wants to take over or like flip the game up on its head, you're not targeting Danny. You're not worried about Danny whatsoever. But if that alliance gets picked off and they're in the minority, Danny's pretty much destined to be the last one standing from that alliance, and that's exactly what happened. And you give him just a round or two of like, yeah, like people procrastinated on taking Danny out in that game, and by the time like he should have been in contention, people were already thinking, oh, let me take him to the end. Like some of the biggest front runners and people most active in that game were wrongly assessing, oh, Danny's someone I could take to the end and beat when he was probably the jury threat from the second jury phase started. Like just a bunch of people early on. He lost a bunch of people, and physically he's not that well. And while I do think that there's aspects of how well he played in these Big Brother games, of how far he made it, despite it, like his inactivity is going to be an issue for it being a Survivor format. But I think his lack of physical prowess is not as detrimental in Survivor as it is on Big Brother, where like it's so contingent on winning challenges and like gaining some agency through that. Whereas like in Survivor, like if you can't win an immunity challenge post merge, like it's not like as much of a death sentence, I feel. So that's the area I'm most concerned about, like from like a physical front, quote unquote. So if his tribe does attend a couple tribal councils, which is going to be very likely, I do think he will be in a lot of trouble. But I have faith enough that he'll be, while not the most active, he won't be the most inactive. There's always someone talking less than Danny is, and I think Danny knows how to read a room, engage, like when to pick it up with specific people. I think he's always like at the right place at the right time. I have lots of hope for Danny. Obviously I've hosted him winning, so a part of me's like, well, if he goes 2 for 2.
I also want to note that he did say in his prod chat literally 2 days ago, Survivor scares me. So I think
I
he's
also
definitely is more, I think he definitely favors playing Big Brother games, probably because he's freaking good at them. So that should be, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll see this different side.
Danny
I
was
also
my first ever alliance member in a long-term org that I had ever had.
Shout out to Flaws.
Oh yeah, that season
Where's Spotlight?
that season got canceled due to everybody being given an advantage and the VL knowing who everybody's advantages were.
Period. Shout out Spotlight.
But yeah, that was a thing. Danny's gone on to do some incredible things since then.
Okay. Good talk.
I also know from playing with Danny, he's very selective with who he speaks to. And I feel like that could also hinder him.
Is that why
I
he's perceived as inactive?
that, that may be it. Like he has his people kind of already made up. That may like I don't again a tribe setting, you being selective and like neglecting specific relationships is gonna like hinder you. It's like gonna be like there's not that many places to hide, and there's people you're actively not talking to. That does worry me about Danny, but I don't know why. I get I see a Ren upside with Danny. Like I kind of see because like Ren, was did it, I don't think attended a single tribal council pre-merge, but like and kind of like faded into the background, at least in the first half of merge. But in the back half, like that Nick round, I think like Ren woke up, quote unquote. Like obviously Ren was playing the whole time, and like I think deliberately playing under the radar, kind of gaining favor by just being very loyal to the first half of the jury, and then the back half was kind of the most honest and the person kind of like pacifying people like, hey, I didn't backstab you on your way out. This guy over here did. And I kind of see Danny. That's kind of why Danny won. Like it's like no one felt burned by Danny on the jury, whereas his opponent, they felt really burned by it. And I think I see a lot of parallels with Ren. Obviously, this cast may just react differently to that type of gameplay and may just reward the more aggressive, the more chaotic player. But I have hopes, even in spite of like the fears, which all valid fears, for Danny. But Danny, please do good. Do me proud.
Do the pancreas tribe proud.
We move on to the next person. We're gonna talk about another. Oh yeah, Sean's best friend from high school. We're gonna talk about
Not the
Dylan.
best friend. Um,
Dylan was there when me and Topher met. Isn't that crazy?
he was.
Yeah, in the Disney mini.
Oh, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
fun fact. Oh, go ahead.
that doesn't make sense because he says in his intro video he's a first-time player. He's a newbie.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. There's so many newbies on this cast. Like I just
Poor
newbies
guy.
are the up and up. I have faith in Dylan.
I honestly think if he keeps that persona, I feel like he's not gonna get caught. I feel like people will like,
I don't
These people won't clock it.
and I could say Dylan is a good bullshitter. Um, as someone who's known him for quite some time, I've seen the bad side of Dylan. I've seen the messy side of Dylan. I've seen even more messier side of Dylan. Um, I like to see. I hope things change with Dylan when it comes to like his gameplay because he does love to play messy. Um, I'm interested to see what his gameplay is to begin with. But yeah,
Messy could be good and messy could be bad. It totally just depends. And again, he's on this tribe with a lot of big personalities. So I really don't know how that's gonna favor for him. Um, I don't think he's play. I mean, this is his first game, but I don't think he's not played a game, whatever, in a while. So I'm excited to see him uh come out of a little retirement era. Um, and if I've played again, like I know him from the mini community. So if he's anything like that, I'm excited to see it play out. Um, I'm just so curious how this, if people are gonna, if there's anyone that's gonna recognize him. I mean, I know like Danny has played like on the Twitter side of things. Noah has played on the Twitter side of things. So those are people both on his tribe that potentially could know him. Um, just from like that Twitter mini sequester era. I don't know if Danny played sequester, but I know Noah has. Um, so it's just an interesting it's an interesting thing to say when you don't know who's going to be on the cast. So we'll see how that all plays out for him. I'm excited to see it.
Um, I have another headcanon for this season. And we'll see, this one's a little bit more iffy. But I foresee Dylan having the most random beef with Noah. Um, I don't know why I get that vibe. I think it's gonna be two people butting heads. Dylan gives me the vibe of somebody that is could be really, really messy, but also knows how to keep that messiness under lock and do it in a smart way. I also think he's somebody who will do it for the bit. He'll do whatever for the bit. I think this this tribe is good for him because it feels a little bit more over the top. So I'm hoping that he can fully express himself here. He's somebody I don't know super well, but I've heard of him. I think um knowing that anybody that's been in the community for a while has likely heard of him, like if they've been here since like 2020 2021. But I don't know, I really want to see him try to pull off the being an org newbie thing. I Part of me thinks it was just a joke in the intro video, but who knows. I feel good about him in a way. I think he's going to be really entertaining to watch. And I hope he's really entertaining to watch for an extended period of time.
Here's the weird thing, the difficult thing about assessing any like newbies, like people who are just playing their first org for the first time, it's like you never know what you're gonna get from them. You don't know what type of strategies they're gonna employ. Um, but no, I think that with Dylan, like I think this is naturally the difficult thing about that. Like people are gonna just take anything, like those first 3 days, like any type of excuse to vote somebody off, and like he's already starting off this game technically, whether he means it to or not, already off of a lie that can be corroborated. Like this isn't someone lying about like their job or their like profession. Like I just came off of hosting a game and a person that like made it far lied about their career and may have won like a couple nights ago. We don't talk about. But like that's a thing you can't cross check. Like that's someone that's completely can control their own narrative. This can get out and already be like, oh, you're trying to downplay how, but like if you've played these before, how much have you played these before? Like I wouldn't be shocked if, like a Danny and Noah or even just a prod guest of someone is just like Dylan's full of shit. Like maybe just instantly out him in that moment. I could see Dylan already facing an uphill battle as the game starts. If people interpret it that way, maybe he goes immediately into the game and says, I've been playing this for a minute. I was just messing around in my video and maybe just completely own it. But if he's actually going to play into him not being as seasoned as he is, especially relative to these people, because that's something that like I would probably have recommended somebody like for as unconnected and as new to the community as this group is as a whole. And even there's a couple people who I think have played a bunch of minis, but like not really that many LRGs. Like I would have recommended, hey, for some of those more seasoned people to kind of downplay it, not really talk about it or mention it all that much. Um, but we'll see. Maybe I don't know. I don't know Dylan like that. I've heard of Dylan. I've heard urban legends of Dylan Halloween, and I know he's a little bit on the polarizing side, so I don't know how people's reception within this cast will be. The viewers lounge may react one way, but like about this cast, how will they react to him? I don't know.
He seems like the kind of person that I would not want to be on their bad side.
Yep. Been there,
He
done that.
hates Trumpies, which is great. I love that personally. Um, that's just me. I mean,
Yeah, why do you think his name's Blue?
oh,
That was not intentional. That's just a
oh.
coincidence. It's just like that's not on purpose.
And
It's
I
just a
think
coincidence.
he will be very vocal about his political views. He kind of like mentioned that in his intro video. So that will be interesting if he does end up coming across somebody that doesn't have the same views as him. And it could cause some drama. So we shall see.
He does love drama.
Polarizing was a great word to use for him, I think. But I'm
Just
kind
just
of obsessed at the same
just
time.
word of advice for anyone who plays these games. If we're talking politics, just lie and say you're Canadian and you didn't vote. Can't offend anybody if you didn't vote. That's the meta. You go trying to break it. All right, but we're gonna move on to this next player here. We're gonna. I didn't know Kato was next. I'm happy. I'm gonna go last. I'm gonna go last. I have words.
I love Caden. I had the pleasure of playing with Caden in their first game, and they are really good. Like, just I was actually like in awe at how good they were at playing. Um, this is their second game, right? And their first one was a Big Brother game. So, I'll be very interested to see how they play in a survivor format. Um, yeah, they just are really good. Like, we're able to like connect socially with a ton of people, and they had a ride or die in Caleb, as you guys touched on earlier. Um, they were ride or dies with Caleb, and they both got, what did they get, like third and fourth or something? So they both did really well. So I can see Caden doing the same thing, similar to Caleb, um, and going really far, um, because they have the social capital, and they're not dumb. They know how to talk to people and strategize, and I'm excited to see them play.
Yeah, they give me really, really intelligent but like reserved vibes from their Ichiro video, which I like in a player a lot, especially in a survivor game. I'm really hoping for that Caleb Caden duo because I think it'd be entertaining as hell. And I think it'd be a very smart duo. But who knows how this tribe's going to um shake up. I think Caden, just based on how I've seen them interact in chats and things, I think no matter how the tribe ends up, I think they will be on the right side of it, at least early on. I don't see them going early. I see them at least making merge. Um, but yeah, very good vibes all around. They see super smart. I'm very curious to see how they're going to take their Big Brother strategy and potentially adapt it into a Survivor strategy, or we might watch them make an entirely new strategy right there on the spot. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I if I was confident in one person making it far, it would be Caden.
Oh, Sean's gone. Go on, Sean. Oh, wait, what? Okay, got it. I'm gonna. I don't know if Sean has things to say on Caden. So I'm gonna stall until he comes back from off the phone. I obviously adore Caden. I don't know if y'all know this. I know Caden. I like went to college with them. Like I brought Caden in. Like we've been friends for some period of time. I know that they're super intelligent, and I knew that that was going to translate into hypnotic. Even like obviously I knew that they watched Big Brother, but like even without that, I had total faith that I could just drop Caden into just a random format if they didn't know anything about this world, and just like Caden would do well. I'm going to only focus on the downsides of Caden because like obviously like you guys are all got the pros up. There's three things that I was really worried about from Caden. Caden strategically great player. I've rarely, if ever, disagreed with Caden's strategic reads on things. The problem is getting those things to happen. I think Caden was like the last person in that end game that really recognized Danny's dangerous. Danny will win, whether it be out of spite because like them, Caleb, Jay, Juan backstab just a bunch of people at the end, and people are just gonna want to vote for the most palatable figure at the end. And I think Jay Juan and Caleb were like, nah, Danny's fine, and we're considering taking him at a point with Jay Juan actually going through with it. Two, very loyal person, loyal to a fault, and this kind of goes in tandem with this third concern, like win equity, like. Gaden was super loyal to Caleb. That type of sheer loyalty was not reciprocated. Like Caleb was in had his cookie jars and with everybody, like making the same deals, and for a good chunk of that end game was not taking Caden out of fear of like Caden outspeaking them. And I try to look back and think of like what everyone who's made an endgame, what their path was to a win. I couldn't come up with that for Kanan just because of how loyal they were to Caleb and how like Caleb was by far the favorite to win in that jury scenario. So Caden, I fear if they attach themselves to a really good player, naturally will go far. Like they found the most powerful, the most socially influential person on the cast and reaped a lot of the benefits of Caleb's social capital. That Caleb, not this Caleb, although it could very likely be the case. But
And I think
yeah,
because of the fact that they did that, they were like the jury was viewing Caden as like just being like a follower almost and not respecting their gameplay. But I don't think that was the case.
like I
That was
we did like a
the jury seemed to feel from my
yeah,
perspective.
yeah, like because that was the thing. Because like I did like power rank. Caden's top 10. Caden's a phenomenal player. And I think like Caden's dangerous going into here, even though they're not as familiar with Survivor nearly as much as they are Big Brother. I just naturally have just tons of faith in Caden to be able to strategically know what's in their best interest. The problem is if they attach themselves to someone who's far and above going to beat them? Will they be able to pivot? Will they be able to recognize this person is going to beat me? I need to cut them. I need to take them out. Because although to garner respect from the jury, to have this move on my resume, will Caden do that? I'm not sure because Caden also made it a point to tell us that their favorite Big Brother player and may just be favorite reality show player of all time is Josh Martinez. And that like scares me. Like maybe Caden like is intentionally trying to find somebody who like will burn a bunch of bridges along the way, which like again another reason why I think the headcanon of Caden and this Caleb like makes a lot of sense in my brain. But I don't know. I have tons of faith in Caden. I like this tribe for them, and I hope that they're able to perform to the level that I have faith that they will be able to. Yeah. I don't know about winner pick, but like I do feel really good about Caden. Could we okay. So Jonathan said they may be on the phone for a while. So I'm going to move on to the next person. Jen's gone too. It's just me and Zach and Susie hosting the rest of the cast assessment. Let's go. We're going to move on to our next person. We got Kitty, my bestie from CTC, who I will talk.
Uh-huh.
I'll talk first because I played with him. Played. Look, they go by any and all pronouns, I'm pretty sure. But I'm just for sake of this, I'm just gonna go by they them. Keddy, love them. I adore them with all every fiber of my being. I think it's ironic that there's them and there's Noah both from my CTC season because we were the final three. It was me. I took them out. Um, but I've kept in touch with them. It's one of the only people in the community that it doesn't require a game, whether I'm hosting or I'm playing with them, for me to talk to Keddy and that's really meant a lot to me. Um, I, I mean, there's a little bias there too, kind of like Zach with Caleb. For me, there's a lot of bias with Keddy. Like I love them. I think they're super funny. I think they're really snarky. I think they're very charismatic. I think you get on a call with Keddy, you just you could just talk about anything, just personal. You could talk about the game stuff. A bit more on the cynical side. Um, I'm very sad that they went out as early as they did in Spellbound. That was not their game. They simply admitted that just so much was going on. They were on the inactive side. They knew that they were going home, but they gave it one hell of a fight on the way there for as little time as they were online for, and almost got a flip to happen. And that was with very little time and very little social capital or pull on that tribe. Like they were the initial target going into that round. And yet maybe like if tribal happened a day earlier, Keddy does not go home second. And that to me is very impressive. So I think Keddy will call someone out on their BS. I think we'll be on the more outspoken side when their neck is kind of on the line. I could kind of see Keddy being cutthroat enough to know when to cut somebody and that they would want it to be under their terms. I kind of saw them do that in CTC with this guy named Hyrie. And that I had full faith that Kenny would have cut Hyrie, just not when most people wanted Hyrie to go. But like he wanted to be the one to take him out, and they wanted to. But I think that I don't know. I have tons of hope for Kenny, despite the fact that they got as early of a boot as they did in the Spellbound. Yeah, someone could talk about Kenny from what they know or what they think.
Yeah, I mean, they seem super fun. I followed along with Keddy's CTC season very loosely. The vibe I got, and you can tell me if this is wrong, Jacob, it felt like Keddy was kind of like a cockroach that y'all couldn't kill in CTC. Um, and we'll see if something similar happens here. Something I completely forgot until this started. First of all, that Keddy and Noah know each other, but also that Keddy and Caleb actually work together, and I think they're friends outside of work. So Keddy does have those connections on the other two tribes. Not saying that they're the most connected player, but that is something that I like to keep an eye on. I don't know. They give very social player, but also kind of like a little bit of a sass. I don't think they'll take anything lying down. I also don't think they'll have to take anything on their starting tribe. Because I feel like their starting tribe might be a little bit passive. I've said this before we started recording. I think the red tribe is probably, if we had to bet on one of the tribes being the most quiet or the most calm, it would be the red tribe. But I could see Kitty very easily getting into a domineering position on that tribe, depending on activity levels. I'll cut it there just because I think we're getting close to like an hour and a half and we're only halfway through the cast. But yeah.
I don't really know Keddy personally. Again, it's someone I've seen around, and I'm excited to see them play, but I just don't really know them, so I don't really have much to say. I'm sorry.
There's someone on this track. I don't know if this person's next. But I just see them linking up, and I really hope it is this next person, so we could just perfectly segue and just move on to the next. Fuck, no, it's not. Damn it. Then I am not the same tribe. Fuck. But we got Kim up next instead.
I guess I can start. I have no idea who this is. I don't know anything about this person. That being said, if I had to bet money on it, this is my winner pick. Why? I don't know. I get the vibe. I get like the mother energy. I couldn't explain it if I tried. They give very good vibes. They give very smart vibes. I think they're talkative enough to, but not overly talkative on their starting tribe, that no matter which way that starting tribe goes, I think they'll be okay. Like if it's like in favor of talkative people, they'll be okay. If it's in favor of more quiet people and the talkative people go after each other, I think they'll be okay. Um, I, I couldn't explain it further than that because I don't really know anything about their gameplay or if they've played a game before or anything like that. It's like a shot in the dark pick. My most wild headcanon out of all of them. But I just imagine in my head the jury votes coming up for Kim at the end of the season and Kim wins. And we'll see if I'm wrong because who knows? They could be an early boot and then I look like an idiot. But yeah.
I can't believe that if I had a nickel for every time Christian came up in the during this cast assessment, like I mean, I had that same feeling about Christian. I get just an air. I'm just like, oh, that guy is going for it. I know Kim not super well. I played a couple minis with her, a bit more on the volatile side. I don't think that's the best word I could use. I just remember it being a big brother, like a birthday mini. It was her birthday, and they gave her preacher, and she was not so pleased. Um, I did not know this was her. I knew there was a Kim in the app pool, but I just assumed. I'm just shocked that I saw her. I was really happy to see her because I think otherwise she's a really nice person. But this is kind of what I'm talking about. I feel like I have like three people on the Poncho tribe over here. They're very outspoken. I think Kim is kind of on that side, but to Zach's credit, I think she will be the least outspoken of the three. I think The other two, I think, are just outspoken, period. Whereas I think Kim is outspoken when provoked, when like she feels like she needs to speak out, so to speak. I think I don't know. I don't think it's the craziest headcanon, Zach. I had to like copy and paste people's pictures like so that they're all the same size and exactly the same point because like it just bugs my eyes. And I picked Kim to be that person. I was just like just copy and pasting her so everyone was the same size. Like maybe, I don't know. Maybe all the people I copied and pasted Kim's picture on vote for her to win at the end. I don't know. I have tons of faith in Kim. I just think they're just super fun. I can't put a finger on what it is. Just you get that vibe with somebody. You and there's someone else like I think shortly after Kim, the person I was talking to about like linking up with Keddy, and I would look at like would I link up with that person? Like if I was just looking at this cast, who would I first be like, there they are. That's my number one ally. I gotta get them if they're on my tribe. Instant. Kim would be one of the first people I would be looking at.
She just seems like a mother, an absolute queen. I don't know this girl from a freaking hole in the wall, but she's absolutely serving, and I'm excited, especially if like I just look at I didn't even like watch her intro video, but like looking at her cast picture, I don't see like volatile or anything like that. So I'm just curious to see what her personality is like because I don't know. I gave good vibes from her.
Maybe I'm just misrepresenting Kim as a person because that was my first like long like noteworthy interaction with Kim. Just my memory of Kim. That's like a core memory. I'm like, damn,
If that's
people
your
could
memory with somebody, like that's your memory for a reason.
like that. It stood out to me. I'm like, well, first off, that was kind of because I know I was pre-jury. Me and Kim didn't vote me off. I just remembered that vividly. I'm like, damn, y'all really just did her on her own birthday mini. Like, don't automatically make her win. That's kind of like the point. Like, maybe have her host instead. But kind of mention like pre-gaming and stuff like that. It's like going into a birthday mini. So I know that there's at least a couple people who played this most recent season of CTC. She didn't go that far, if I'm not mistaken. So I know she's played an LRG before. I
Oh,
just don't know if she's played other ones.
did she play CTC this season?
Yes, this last season.
Okay, I think she went out pre-jury. I
Yeah,
think she was one of the pre-mergers.
I think she was in the first like
Yeah, like third
Mirage
boot
Island. Yeah,
maybe.
something like that.
I don't know. Kim, I think, exudes this feeling that I have for a lot of this cast. In that, at least for me, these all feel like fresh faces. I don't know these people. I don't know what they're gonna do. It feels like a less connected cast than contemporary orgs usually are, where like most people know each other. This feels like a group of people that not a lot of them know each other, and if they do, they only know a couple people from the cast. But I'm very excited to see how it gets up to because I couldn't if I was throwing darts based on what this cast will do and how this game will go, it would be blindfolded. I don't know because I don't know these people.
That's why I'm like having such a hard time like picking a winner pick. I
Yeah.
really
Like there's someone who like I really want to see win that I don't know. No idea. Not even there's Anthony that was like I kind of want to get that. But it's like I think I did that too hastily because just alphabetically he was early on. It's like, oh, Anthony's my winner pick. Wait, I have like 2/3 of the whole cast I gotta look at first. Thanks. Sean, you're back. Sean, you're no longer gone. What do you think about Kim, man?
Um, I really don't know Kim. I hope she does well.
For
yeah.
context, in the prod chat, Zach quoted I don't know blank person. I just like their vibe. It's locked our asses. We're gonna move on to the next person. This is who I was talking about. I did not know Kim was in between Keddy and Laura here. Headcanon, Keddy and Laura, that's gonna be a thing. I don't know how close of a thing that they will be, but this will be a thing.
This is who I know. Well, actually, slash, I realized, duh, I know Noah too.
Juicy,
Did we
go
already
ahead.
do Noah?
No, it's alphabetical.
Oh, I thought it was alphabetical by tribe.
No. Talk about Laura.
Okay. Um, yeah, what did I do? Did we where
I
was
think
it? Big
maybe
Brother. Yeah, it was Big Brother with Laura. And right? Yeah. Yeah, Laura. No, Laura's like I think she gets really I think she's played a lot of games and she gets super into them too, and she's good about being social and like strategic too, or at least tries to. Like I think she's really loyal too if you work with her. Um so yeah, I don't know. She's really nice. And I'm just interested to see how she'll vibe with the vibe. Like I'm interested to see how she'll connect with everyone. I wonder she if well her and Noah aren't on the I literally was just looking at the tribe pictures, but they're not on the same one, right? I don't think. I don't think they were, yeah. But if like they both make it to merge or like if they end up being on the same tribe or something, I'll be interested if they like work together or something like that. But yeah, I'm excited to see her play and like hear her thoughts about it. I've messaged her to play like every season since I don't know, since for a while. So she finally did it. I mean, I don't know. I did message her. I don't know if I was technically the reason why she decided to or not, but yeah. Anyway,
yeah, she's a name that I've definitely seen in the community, but I also feel like I haven't seen her name in a minute.
yeah.
So
Like I know she plays a lot. Maybe like she might play on like other like
yeah, maybe.
platforms or something like that. But I know she plays quite a bit, or at least she used to maybe play more um earlier or
Uh,
back in the day.
just looking at my mutual servers with her on Discord, she played season 9 of Triumph and she played Surviving 1984 at some point.
Yeah. And she was playing I just remember her playing games or about to be playing games literally at the times of our previous seasons. So, yeah. But it'll be exciting. So like she knows the community and she knows games. So it's really just all about how she gets along with people and communicates with people. And hopefully I hope she's not seen as I don't know. I hope she's not perceived a certain way like by people. But yeah, I don't know. Cuz she's nice. But yeah.
Jacob?
So my head canon, her and Ketty gonna link up. I don't know. It's like one of those people. I'm like, I saw like the intro videos. I'm like, oh my gosh, she plays Nintendo games. She's playing on her Switch, plays Mario, maybe plays Pokemon. I don't know. Just have just high hopes in that regard. Just don't know why. I think that they'd hit it off. I think they'll bounce off each other very quickly. Kay's a bit on the sassier side. Maybe Laura will be like that wholesome friend that every like group of like friends that clown on each other has. It's like the one nice person that like no one says had anything mean about. I have seen Laura around quite a bit, never hosted them. I don't think they've never not gotten to jury, but I know she did play Triumph. I think she made it far. I think that's the farthest I've seen from the limited sites that I've seen Laura in. Um I think it's just a very nice person. I will definitely vouch for a Jackbox night but like one of those Jackbox nights where they do it and they're like, oh my gosh, we should do this every night. We should do this again sometime, and it never happens again. And I at least that attempt to bring the tribe together, I think will like bring this aura about her. I think that will give people the perception she's a team player. She's all for the people. She's all for her group. She's all for her team. So I think that that will actually do some good for her, like long term, to be potentially picked up. It's like, oh, Laura, we need to get Laura on our team because Laura seems like a Laurel, a loyal person. I don't know if she is going to play that way. I know Susie had mentioned that she is a very loyal person. But I think that just some people who just give off that air about them. You see their intro video. They don't even say a word about their strategy or what they're here for or why they like playing these games. You just kind of know. And I think Laura's going to be that person, which I think is hilarious considering the next person we're going to talk about definitely does not give that vibe, which I just think is funny.
Yeah, I don't know Laura, but the vibe she gives me is, and this is a very weird way to state this, she gives me the vibe that if the challenge was Duolingo, she would be the one to stay on Duolingo for like 10 hours to get the tribe score up. Um, I don't know. I get good energy from her. I get good vibes from her. Um, the Jackbox thing, I have my own feelings about Jackbox. Um, Pisses me off. If I ever got in a tribe and they said, "Let's play Jackbox," I would say, "Hell no." And I'd say, I have something else I gotta do tonight." Because I don't want to play Trivia Murder Party. Not tonight, girl. But
Oh my gosh.
I don't
Oh,
know. Maybe her tribe will be receptive to that, and she might not even do it. But yeah, giving me good energy from my very limited knowledge of her. I could see her doing very well.
I think that the blue tribe will be the one to do a Jackbox night. I think she'll inspire another tribe to do it. I don't know why. I just see the blue tribe doing Jackbox night the first night and just kikiing all night. It's gonna be fun.
oh my gosh. That is funny.
Are we good to move on to the next person or
Yeah. Wait,
Oakley
now I'm
Dokley?
curious. Oh, there's another Laura, isn't
Yeah,
there?
yeah, there's two Lauras. We got Laura W, which is like literally one letter off from this other Laura, but could not be any more different from this Laura if like they tried to be. I have words about Laura. We'll get to them. Someone else speak first before I go on my spiel.
I've seen her play some games, and she seems to be someone that, I mean, just this is just from the vibes that I get. I don't know her like very well. I like Topher's played with her. Um, but she definitely is like the kind of person that you either love or hate. That's the vibe I get. I mean, look at her serving in this picture. Like she's just serving. It's kind of queen. Um, but she like like actively talks about her strategy in her intro video, which is a choice. Excuse me. And I think that it just depends on the other people on her tribe how that's going to be like how her personality is going to be perceived. She seems to have a strong personality, which it just again it just depends on if the other people on her tribe are going to vibe with that or not. Oh, bye, Jacob. What happened?
I don't know what happened,
It's okay.
man.
It's okay. The YouTube's still running.
Oh, neat. What
You
the
just,
fuck?
you,
What the fuck?
you just got you gotta get
I'm going back. I'm
the.
going back. I'm going back. I'm going back. I'm going back. I'm going back. Essentially, there we are.
Hold on, let me make sure it's still going.
It is because
Like,
I'm
yeah.
recording.
Okay, T. Okay. Uh, I'll go ahead and go. Laura, from my, because I haven't really been present in the org community for like the past half a year. But I read through VLs and stuff. From what I've seen, she seems very divisive. Which for any player is a worry. Where you don't know if people are going to love them or they're going to hate them. Something that is good is that she seems like from prod chats the person that is the single most excited person to play this season. Um, Already thinking about how they're going to play, reaching out to people to figure out what they can do to strengthen their strategy. Um, and giving very good signs of activity and thoughtfulness in their strategy, especially early on. Let me look at their tribe. Yeah, she's part of what I'm going to think is the mess tribe. I think that tribe is going to be a hot mess express, and she may contribute to that. I don't know. It's something about that tribe just screams explosiveness. Her intro video is something that worries me. I as a prod member, I'm imagining myself in the mind of a player during this season, and if I'd see that, if I'd see her intro video, first thing I'd think is, okay, mother. Second of all is, oh, she's a little bit out there. And third of all, oh, she's a villain. Interesting. She openly says that she's known as a villain, which it doesn't matter if everybody on the cast knows you before the season starts. Saying that outright is, in my opinion, not the play. She comes off a little bit strong in her intro video, which is could be a good thing, but I see it more as a negative. Which leads me to worry a little bit more about her coming into the game. But at the same time, I don't know her enough and know how she talks and how she strategizes with people to know if that's going to actually have any sort of effect. Um, she gives me another headcanon. She gives me villain of the season vibes. Um, I I don't know. Something about her. I'm very excited to see her play. Don't get me wrong. I know that some of the stuff I've been saying is like leans a little bit more negative just based on first impressions. But also I can tell how excited she is and how much she cares about the game before it's even started. Which is a very good sign going ahead. So yeah, I'm hoping very good things for her. I hope she does well. And I hope that that intro video doesn't have the effect that I interpreted from it. But we'll just have to see as the game starts in under 24 hours.
Okay, I'll go. This is my time, I suppose. Love Laura, adore Laura with every fiber of my being. I don't. I I watched the video, right? And she said, "Hello, my name is Laura. My name, none of your business." Like that's none of your business. Like the way she said it, I thought it was because I know Laura, right? I find that stuff funny, and I'm like mother queen, but it may rub a lot of people the wrong way. And I remember because I don't know if the collective was her first long-term game. We've kept in very close touch since then. Again, one of those people like I don't need to host her or she didn't even know I was on Prod. This had absolutely nothing to do with me being here. And I just remember her saying something like, "Well, we're on a call." It's like I think she was wearing something. I was like, "Oh my gosh, you look really nice." So yeah, it's what I'm gonna wear in finale when I beat you. I'm like, okay, okay, okay. Which like she wasn't going to, but like she doesn't need to know that. I adore Laura, and the one thing about the advice that she received, I think one of the things that I wanted to see her work on, I think she speaks. I don't think she thinks always before she speaks. She comes off very strong, very headstrong. I think she is very outspoken. I think she will say what's on her mind, but not but holding back, biting your tongue, not saying everything that comes instantly to mind is to your benefit. I think that the problem with Laura is that Laura, in any cast that she's in, will be a character first, player second. And I think it's very difficult for somebody who is so out there and so trying to play a very specific role on the cast. Like there's a disconnect there. Like it's like it almost comes off like inauthentic in a way. Like she's trying too hard to be the villain, not just a villain. Like because I think most people in these games, I think are anti-hero or neutral, leaning towards villain because of just the nature of these games. But if you're kind of coming in here saying, "Oh, people know me as a villain," kind of like already playing into that. Already, you're alerting the people who are not as connected who have so little to go off of something. That's was my concern with Anthony when you mentioned Anthony saying he's gonna play it dumb. I was scared he mentioned it in his chat because now he's not gonna get away with it. Loris is basically painting the target on her back already. And I think that on this cast, as messy as it is, maybe it's going to be to Laura's benefit. Maybe because Laura's the type of person who will revel in the chaos and will just do things for the bit. I think Laura can actually potentially thrive in this type of environment. And I mentioned this earlier. I would pay money, and I don't need to see Caden and Laura on a call. They're gonna love each other. Like this could be ride or die type stuff, or they're gonna fucking despise each other. I don't know which one we're going to get. And either way, I want to be the first one to hop on that call to see them talk massive shit about me. That's gonna be fun. I bring people together. What can I say? It, good ways, bad ways, whatever. Yeah, I want to see Laura go far. I've seen her be very mixed, reception wise. Some people love her, some people hate her, as Jen said. Um, so if this cast is more on the what's the word I'm looking for? The love side of things. And as far as the villain accusation is concerned, I think that's she'll play into it. Like if she's gonna make it to the end, no one's gonna not vote for her because because she'll own it. She's like, I reveling in the chaos. Like, yeah, I was a villain. Yes, I backstabbed. Yes, I betrayed. And that type of accountability is something that a lot of people who play more villainous games do not do. And they double, triple, quadruple down on their lives to the point where they convince themselves their lives are actually what actually happened. But Laura will plans that. But will she be doing what's best for her game, or will she be backstabbing people and making moves because she just thinks, oh, that's what you just have to do? You know, that's we'll see. We get to are we? Does someone have anything else to say about Laura? Or are we going to move on to the next person?
The only thing that I was gonna say is that like, why do I feel like she's gonna play like a Sanam game, but in a less like organized and planned out way? Because I know last season with Sanam, she like planned out her conversation, she planned out like what she wanted, but I feel like Laura is just gonna do what she wants.
Like if Sanam was a villain.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I see it. We're good to move on to the next person.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're almost at 11 o'clock. Will we make it? Will we make it to midnight? Who knows?
We are 2/3
Fine.
through.
Almost getting
We got this. Timeless Mike motherfucking Jones is back, guys.
He's back.
Mike just asked me to play his music game.
I'm obsessed with that.
I was like, what? I was like, what is it?
That's so funny. So
So there's that.
I'm very excited to see Mike play because when Mike played the first time, it was like his second game, I believe. And that was after playing Distortion and being a very early boot. And so he was a little bit more reserved, Mike Jones, really before he came out of his shell in the community and really got to show the personality that is the timeless Mike Jones that we all know and love. Um, I think that I think Mike's personality shined a lot when he or maybe not shined a lot is the word I'm looking for, but his gameplay that he's played. So the play that he played in Hypnotic, I'm very curious to see that style of gameplay from Mike because it's chaotic and it's so different than the Mike that played season 4 of Kaleidoscope. So just it's just it's just so different. And I'm just like I just want to see him do well. But as someone that played with Mike in Hypnotic, besties knows what happened. I did not like playing with Mike in Hypnotic. The chaos was just a little much for me personally, but I think looking at his tribe, he might be one of the more dominating personalities that it could benefit him unless it unless people, I mean, I don't know, unless people are like me and don't like it and want to get him out. But I'm excited he's back, and I'm excited to see this new timeless Mike Jones that I haven't had the pleasure of hosting yet.
He went from what I would say he went from timeless to handful because like playing closely with Mike is there's it's much more high maintenance now as it was back then. Like I think like when he like realistically Kaleidoscope was his first game. This wasn't like Caleb where like he makes it super far in CTC. It has like a legitimate like that's how I did just first impressions and then now this is his second game. That's not the same way. Mike has not survived a single tribal council he attended up until that point when he played Kaleidoscope. And it was so interesting to see how docile and low key. And he's playing a game right now, and he quoted directly what I told him his strengths are. I said, when he lays low, he plays off his likability, plays socially, and just he's a very reactionary player. He sees things happen, he sits back, he analyzes it, he soaks it in a little bit, and then plays like as a reacting to what just happened there. But when he plays aggressively, when he's out in front, and when he's very bad at hiding when he's doing things. Like maybe part of it is like him trying to be a troll, him not caring, and just throwing whatever, just seeing whatever sticks to the wall. Um, that type of style of gameplay, but that's going to work on most casts. And I think Mike has gotten out. I think this streak of like him getting out early in Hypnotic, him getting early out in Distortion All Stars. Like I kind of want to see if he can reel it back in, find like a healthy medium. Because I think Timeline of Terror, ironically, Timeless Mike Jones, was his probably most impressive game on paper. Um, just one vote away from making it to the end, where like he has like a solid case to make. I don't know if he wins, but I think had the most game awareness. I think was most active as the most active I think he's ever been, and I think last person to ever receive a vote or vote incorrectly, like something along those lines. I think that's peak Mike Jones, and I kind of want to see him recapture that kind of magic. Um, I did this cast, or like, it's this tribe specifically. Zach mentioned it earlier, and I agree with the sentiments too. I think that this is going to be the most mellow tribe, and if he plays the same way he did in season four, I think he will be fine. I think he should be set, and I think sometimes the jokes that he makes him come off in a way like he's more mean or than he actually is. I like that sense of humor. Not everyone. It's like Laura, like that type of sense of humor. I think those two actually would get along very well, or they hate each other. I don't know. But if Mike tries to play too hard, I don't think the Ivanova tribe will be quiet enough to not compare notes, and I think it will catch up to him. And I think I could see him being at risk very early if he plays more so like he's been playing recently.
Yeah, I think Jacob summarized it pretty well. I mean, it's Mike Jones. Like at this point, at least for me, he's like a household org name. I don't know, something about him is just really timeless, really rememberable. And I'm hoping he makes the same impression in this game he's made on me. I love Mike. I think he's awesome. I worry for him because his game so far throughout his org history has been very hit or miss. If he's able to stick that landing early on, he does pretty well. He makes it pretty far. But we've seen multiple times he tries to stick that landing, comes off a bit too strong, and then gets sniped early. And then there's one outlier in that in which his brother was in the game, and we saw how that turned out. But no, I'm really interested to see Mike with this cast because I think he's had some time for some introspection to think, okay, what have I done wrong? What can I do right? What can I improve in my gameplay? Brothers that kiss. Yeah, I'm really interested to see if he changes his gameplay at all. I want to see him pull it back a little bit his gameplay, pull back a little bit. His personality, push forward a little bit. Not to say his gameplay is bad, but I think he comes out a bit too strong, a bit too early on, and that can come off as domineering, especially in this starting tribe. I think he has to be very careful about that in his starting tribe. After he's off that, who cares? But this tribe, I don't think is going to be acting very kindly to a dominating force. This feels like the most democratic of the tribes, just purely based off vibes. But yeah, I love Mike. I hope they love Mike. I really want to see him do well. Maybe he'll grab a win. If he does grab a win, I'd be like, hell yeah. But yeah, love Mike. Good guy. Hope he does well.
I love Mike. Um, I've never actually seen him play. Like, I don't really follow the orgs he play. The only time I'll follow anything of Mike when he's in an org is when he goes, I think I'm going home. I think I'm going home. And like just by off that, I'm like, I really hope like it's a bit, to be honest. But there's times where he's right and he is going home. Um, so I'm excited to see what he does here differently. And it's as if he blah 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 blah. And I want to know if like he like learned from like his past orgs or even like his last time in Kaleidoscope and changed things up this time around.
I want to believe it's a bit because like he's saying now he's going home and like the game hasn't even started. He doesn't even he thinks he's the only returnee. Like he thinks it's just the whole cast of people and Timeless Mike Joe. Like he's a celebrity. He's Bruce. Which to be fair, I thought I was the only returnee my season. And I was quite literally Bruce. But that paranoia, man. I don't know how I don't know how much of it is a bit because I want to believe this paranoia is genuine, and that is a great contributor to why he got sent home as early as he was in Hypnotic. Don't know why it was in Distortion. I think it was an activity thing, and don't know why it was most recently in All Star. Well, I guess I partially know. From my perspective, what I wanted, why I wanted him gone, but I don't know. I have faith. I have hope. I just want Mike Jones to get a win, and if it's in the same world circle as me, that would be cute. But are we good to move on to the next person? Okie doke. No,
Ye-
final returnee.
Ugh, Lord. Noah. Noah,
Susie's best friend.
Noah and I played the game that shall not be named first. Clap, clap. And he made it all the way he made it all the way to final two. And like seemingly like unproblematic for the most part from what I remember, at least in that game. I'm trying to like fully remember, but I like yeah, like aligned pretty well with people. Maybe people were trying to get him out at one point. Um whatever. So yeah, he also plays a lot of games, and then we played Big Brother this with Laura. Um and in the beginning he was okay, and all of a sudden people started turning on him, and like he started like you like I don't know, venting about personal life issues and like using that. I don't know, like all this random stuff. Somebody dropped out of the game because of not getting along with Noah or something like that. It was a lot. And people quickly like voted him out after start like all this drama in the game. And then I think I, I was like the only one who voted for him to stay or something, and people like saw that I was kind of aligned with him, really only because we played opposed together. Um, and maybe he took a break for a little bit after that, but he's still playing games, playing plenty of games. I don't know what Hey, I don't know what people think of him now in the org community. Like, I don't know how he plays games anymore, but maybe someone's played with him or hosted him more recently. But we'll see. I'm sure a lot of people know him from here and there. Um, if you like are aligned, there's no, I guess, like kind of loyal, kind of like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe someone else can go. I'm sure there's plenty to say. Mm, I want to hear. Ready, go.
So
Very
oh, the last time I had an interaction with Noah was also in Applause. We were actually closely aligned. The one thing that I've noticed, and mind you, this was like what, like 2 years ago, so his gameplay could have changed by now. Um, he's the type of person who would, when you talk game with him, he expects you to give him information. And there's times where he would hold off on information when you give him information. Um, and then I remember he got mad at me because I didn't tell him I had an idol. Um, yeah, so yeah, he made it to the end, didn't get my vote because I was bitter. And he also had terrible jury management. So yeah, that's the last time I've seen Noah.
So I love Noah. I think that Noah is so much fun to watch. And when he played season 3, he got fucked over because essentially what happened was Karen told someone else that he had an idol. And so that person, I don't remember who it was, it might have been Mikey, used that knowledge against Noah, and they were able to blindside Noah that way. So Noah, he had gone pretty far in season 3, and
Yeah,
um,
I remember that now. I was like, wait,
yeah,
what did he play? Were him and Karen like duo of the
they were
season?
like, I think they were duo of the season.
Yeah, because they were like, I kind of liked their friendship.
Yeah, they were a fun duo.
Yeah.
And I love Noah's energy, and it's just, I just absolutely love him. And we know he's at least won once and lost once in a final tribal council. So sorry that Jacob's making a face at me. So he knows what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
So we'll see how he takes this. I also like think he forgot that he played this game because when he played, it was we were still under the name Inferno. And
Yeah.
when we initially put out applications for the season, we specified newbies only, and he still put in an application without even questioning it. And you know what? I love him for that. I can see that of being. I'll be so real. Never mind. I'm not even gonna say it. But
What?
I was just gonna say I could see him just doing it, like applying while like he was like high and just like not even thinking about
Oh, yeah, for sure.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
love that.
Also, yeah, I really do love him. Like, regardless of all the like stuff that happened, BB Disney, I don't know. Yeah, I do love him. He's great.
Um, I don't know a lot about Noah. I watched him play a little bit of CTC, and then I hosted him in the CTC holiday mini thing. So my assessment of him may be completely wrong. He seems like when he is in power or has people in power that trust him or he's in alliances with them, he's all good. And then when he is at the bottom or when he is vulnerable, it feels like he might sort of like get either emotional or start flailing around a little bit, which is dangerous. I think his best position is playing from the top down. I don't think he's the type of player that is best playing from the bottom up. So I think what is critical for him, at least early on, is getting into that top position. Whether that be reaching out to like people like Dylan and trying to form something there, trying to build like something like a majority, whatever it be for him to get into a decent position on his tribe early, is critical for him because I don't want to see him get into the situation where he has to scramble because and Jacob, you can tell me if I'm wrong because you played with him. He doesn't seem like he would be the best player in a scramble situation.
Actually, contrary to what Zach's perception is, I've actually never played with Noah before. I don't know where this idea of me having played a game with him before is. I have no idea how he won. I just heard that the guy he was up against, he should have won. That's all I recall.
I already
Uh,
suck.
okay, I just remember no. Off topic, I just remember one time it's like, oh my gosh, we should have Alex do the route, like the cast assessment, because we need a winner's perspective. It just entirely just to irk my soul when I was like right there, like whatever. So no, I played with him. Like knowing of what happened in applause and got super close during that game. I will say Zach's assessment is very true, which is why, like I mentioned again, this is the other over OTT person on this tribe. He does not handle adversity well. He's an emotional player, and he may have said that quite a couple times during his final tribal council in CTC, but not an emotional player in the sense where I think emotions dictate his strategy. I don't think he'll vote someone off sheerly due to strategy. But he's very hard at keeping his emotions and keeping his paranoia in check when he does not get his way. I remember there was two specific instances, and these are the only two instances where he did not get his way. He was not well received. Partially the reason why I felt comfortable taking him in the final two, in that scenario. I think Noah has the ability to form these really strong bonds, but kind of like in a way where like people don't think like he think he's unassuming because he's this like emotional guy. He can't be a threat. He can't be playing strategically, but he's a lot smarter than I think his first impressions may give off with Noah. I think that of the three, he's like I don't really know where he's gonna go. I kind of see. I anticipate Austin to go far. I anticipate, if Mike recaptures that magic from season 4, he goes far. I don't know what we're gonna get from Noah because I do see an overall narrative being like OTT versus UTR. Like I see like a good chunk of this, like maybe like half of this cast being these big, like over the top, kind of like outspoken people, like eager to make these big moves, are not afraid to call people out, are not afraid of confrontations, or at least will be on the receiving end of confrontations. And then there's this other half of the players who are kind of more docile, kind of more in the background, the kind of passive players, kind of like not necessarily, oh, just tell me where to vote and I'll vote. That's kind of, I don't know why that's the vibe I get from this season. That will be like the overarching theme I foresee. And I kind of want to see how no one navigates that, if that is going to be what happens. I'm worried for him on this tribe. I could see who Austin can gravitate towards. I can see who Mike gravitates towards on their respective tribes. I don't know what Noah's path is, at least on this tribe. I know you mentioned Dylan. I think that actually may be more of an adversarial relationship. I see like like a I would not be shocked if the first tribal council is Noah versus Dylan. Like I would not be shocked if that happens. Maybe if it goes on early, then like yeah, like maybe like an early consensus boot may occur just due to the nature of this twist. People are going to be expecting to be going to tribal a lot. Um, and Noah is actually one of the better competitors, at least for sure, that I know of on that tribe. So maybe he can reap the benefits of that. But I don't know. I have high hopes for Noah naturally because I know he's won a game, but we'll see. All of my head kids will go true. So real. We're gonna move on to the next person. With Sean kicking his feet up. We're almost done. We're gonna move on to maybe Parker, maybe Jared.
I think it's
Well, it's Parker. He while we've been doing this, he got his stuff in.
I gotta
Well,
watch this clip of this.
I think one of two, but I don't know anything about him because I haven't watched it. So based off of his material submissions, I'm worried for him because that seems like it's gonna be inactivity, but may be wrong. I don't know. Um, I think he's on. Yeah, he's on what I think is the shit show tribe. And who knows? He might be the first casualty of the shit show tribe, or he might find himself in a good position. I don't really know Parker at all. I'm gonna mute. I'm gonna listen to his video, and then I'll come back and see what I gotta say.
I think Jacob's doing that right now. Yo, he has had me cracking up in his project for no absolute freaking reason other than us just bugging the crap out of him for his materials and him just saying, KK, I got you. I have no idea where he came from. I've never seen this man before in my life, but I absolutely love I love the energy of I just again just like simple KK, I got you. Just makes me laugh. And just based off of Jacob and Zach's reactions right now, I'm assuming that this intro video is funny. And I hope that this procrastination is not indicative of how he's going to play this game. And I hope that he is active enough to not be booted first.
I watched his intro video and I think I stopped when he like mentioned something about the Navy. Um, and I want to know this guy's history. I need to know his like game history. I know I think Chris the one that like told him to apply or something like that because that's my only mutual with him. Um, I'm excited. 'Cause I'm just excited.
Okay, hold on. I'm back. I think I'm on the Parker train now. He called himself the
The
chosen
chosen
one,
one.
and that he's going to bring justice to this game. And then this is like all in like the first 30 seconds of his video. The last 30 seconds of his video in this 90-second video, he goes on to this rant about like World War II Navy shit. I love it. I love this energy. He gives.
This man was asking us not an hour ago what he should be putting in his intro video, just so we're all aware of that.
Dude, I I I don't know if he cares. We're gonna see if he cares about the game. But if this is just like him like being funny and caring about the game at the same time, then like I rock with it. I don't know his longevity with it, but I feel infinitely better about him after watching that intro video.
No, I thought it was hilarious. I couldn't stop. I just because I think it's like this is someone who's just funny, just a very comedic, very charismatic guy. Maybe the class clown in high school. Like that's just the vibe I get. I just think he's just a funny dude, and I think he's gonna be on the more mellow side when he's not kind of like in the zone right here. He mentioned politics. I know we talked about like, oh my gosh, Dylan, doesn't like Trumpies. But wait, who knows what Parker is? He is on the Blue Tribe after all, though.
He's the
But
chosen one.
he's the chosen one. Yeah, but what was the chosen party? Like, what did he choose? Is my question,
His
Grace.
party.
His he's the chosen one. He was the third party. But no, Parker. I just love that intro video. I don't know why. I was really concerned for context. He did not send in his stuff until like during this. Like this is taking place like this was aimed to start at 8. This started at 9 p.m. Eastern time, the day before uh the game will start, and we did not have anything from him. And so we have his picture here. We have now his intro video, and I again like don't know how seriously he's going to be taking this. He thought that an action shot was just a picture, and I think in our thing it was just saying it, for example, just drinking water. He just sent a picture of him drinking water. So I don't know if that kind of lackadaisical kind of energy or approach will mean that he's going to slack off socially or activity wise, and therefore may be an early casualty. But I think honestly he can kind of invest, like direct this energy into just being just a laid back, cool dude. Like this is kind of like the aura I saw from Max. Like Max's video last season did not give lots of did not give off much energy. But I thought like the upside with Max, and I had no qualms with him. I had like no criticisms. I had no doubt in my mind that he would go far. Like I just thought that everybody would just in the midst of all the chaos and the mania that goes on, especially on this tribe, there's going to be a lot going on. Like I could see Parker hopefully taking that Max role of just kind of being just like this laid back, chill dude who nobody's really like looking at all that much because like what's he doing? What's Parker doing? Parker's not doing anything. Parker's not at fault for any of the mania that goes on. That's my hope for him. I don't
He's also
see this.
only 18 years old, which is, I mean, not looking at Zach. I also don't consider Zach young. You just don't give 19-year-old energy, but he's 18 and that's like super young. And it just makes all of this to me that much funnier.
Like I do remember when hosting Hypnotic, there was a couple people who were 18 that I was concerned about them being able to connect with people. Like I was scared that they would be outliers, that they would struggle due to that lack of life experience. They'd be a bit more impressionable. They'd be a little bit more trusting. I think that naturally you want to have enough experience, not only just at games under your belt, but just in life. So that you don't, I don't know, like it's just something that I was just, and coincidentally, those were the first two boots of Hypnotic, but that's not the case with everybody. I did not know that fact. I just saw this video. I know the hassle that came with getting his materials, and I just thought this video was amazing. I don't know if he means to be funny, but it was funny. And if he watches this for somehow postseason, and he actually was serious that he was going to be the chosen one, I'm so sorry for making fun of you, dude. I'm sorry.
Just to speak on like the young aspect in games, like whether it be playing as a minor or like an 18-year-old, that was me for quite a while. And it is significantly more difficult to have a good social game with that. First of all, people are less likely to want to work with you, especially if you come off as intelligent. The only reason people will want to work with you is because they think they can control you. And if he doesn't give off that vibe, it's going to be significantly more difficult for him. There's much less life experience that you can talk to people and relate to people with. The way that I played games and the way that I worked my social game was talking about previous orgs because I didn't have that life experience to do that. But if he's newer to the community or if he doesn't really have orgs to talk about, I don't know where he's going to gather that from. And it might be a little bit different because he's 18, so like college age, and I was playing when I was like high school age. So it might be completely different, but it's only a 1 year difference, so I don't think it's going to be too much. But if he already has issues with a social game and then is impeded even more by his age, that's a difficulty I could see him facing with. But if he's just a funny guy and he gets along with everybody and he's chill, I could see it getting past that. Because I think part of why I had issues with it is because, and I got told this multiple times, that I came off a little bit of intimidating. So it was difficult to get along with me at the start of games. He does not come off as intimidating. He comes off as like a very level, like down to earth guy that like you could like talk with and just chill with. So we'll have to see whether that hurts him or whether that benefits him, or if there's no point, it doesn't matter. But it is something to keep an eye on for him.
Just buy his loyalty, just like I did when I first played with Zach. Just get him a Nintendo Online membership. Uh, Worked for me every time. I was working with someone younger than me. That it worked for me.
Buy him World War II memorabilia. He will stay loyal to you.
by just one shell of a just one shelf. That's it. But we're gonna move on. Um, Sergio. To go from this chosen one to Sergio, that's just this is a tough act to follow. But I'll go first because I posted Sergio semi recently. Um, I hosted him in Hypnotic, and I know for a fact he's gone far because he went pretty far in Persist. He was like, I don't know if he was the villain. The vibe I got, either he was the cockroach, the person that just no one could ever get rid of, or just this chaotic player. Every time I've hosted him, every time I've gone on calls with him, the aura gives off he wants to be the villain, and it really I just think it just amplifies just the concerns of the koala tribe as a whole, just like them as a group. They're it's going to be such fun dissecting those relationships and really looking at that tribe. I think that's going to be the most fun I'm going to have spectating a tribe, but longevity wise, I'm concerned for almost all of them. It, just to some extent, and Sergio being no exception, because I see him get early boots a lot, and I kind of still am trying to figure out the way to how to pinpoint why that is. I think just he comes off strong, in his conversations. I think that maybe he won't escape those allegations. Like there's just some people who just come off as schemy right off the bat, who off of a call, you don't get a lot of comfort from them. They don't give you that reassurance. They don't lock in that deal with you early on, but you could just tell that the gears are turning with those players. And I think Sergio is just one of those people who gives off that impression. Mind you, I think on this, if any tribe is going to let Sergio slide, it's possibly this one. Because I think a lot of people can give off that impression at first glance, like a Caden, a Caleb, a Laura V. Like, I think there's going to be tons of people who maybe Sergio can strategize with because maybe he's just going to do things just for the bit, maybe just because he's bored. I can see definitely Sergio be a bit of a troll on this cast, but I could also see people legitimately wanting to strategize with him and Sergio actually gets hopefully some capital. I hope that this game is an exception for him because he got sniped really early. Him not like I was really disappointed because I really loved seeing him play. Was it the best gameplay? No, but I do think he demonstrated some potential and actually had a couple solid allies. For this guy that a lot of people kind of write off early on, like, oh, he's gonna go home early. He actually had a good amount of support. He had almost half of the house wanting to keep him against one of the most likable people. Like I think he has a decent mind for the game, or at least an underrated mind relative to this cast and what other people assess him as.
Um, I yeah, I see him get early boots a lot. And I think it's sort of a combination of two factors. I know a lot of like a good number of times he has been a little bit inactive, which is sort of a death sentence in games. The other one is you mentioned scheming. He very much gives off that vibe of scheming constantly, thinking constantly about, okay, do I need to worry about this guy fucking me over? I hosted him in a game that yeah but he went out early because from day dot he was thinking about how to fuck people over, which can be good, which can be smart, but he has to be careful about it because just the way he comes off you can tell, like you can tell that there's something else going on here and he's not being 100% truthful to you. He's also very willing to create plans right off the bat in early rounds. I think that's sort of dangerous in Survivor, especially if you give off that scheming vibe, because people are going to say, okay, when is he going to turn on me? I think for him to excel in this game, he either needs people in front of him or he needs to tone it back a little bit. And we'll see if he does either of those or if he goes early, or what's going to go on with him. He's one of the people I'm most worried about for like the first two rounds, but I think if he makes it past those two rounds, he has a decent run ahead of him. So I'm hopeful for that. I also hope his notifications on Discord are fixed by the time the season starts because that's, oh boy, if you don't have your notifications on, I don't know, man.
I don't really know Sergio, and I was gonna say that he seems like he's like really sweet, but like based off of what y'all are saying, he seems like he's a little bit diabolical. So that's like a shock to me. But again, I don't even know him, so I that's just based on his picture, he just seems really sweet. Um, I'm excited to see him play, especially, if he gets early boot a lot. I want to see him do well. So I hope he does well.
I know it's getting pretty late. Oh, Sean, did you want to say something about Sergio? Okay. I know it's getting pretty late. I apologize for that. It's partially my fault, but we're gonna move on to the next person. We only got we only got, I think, two, three people left. We're almost there. Let's talk about Sheena. She has a Squirtle. Let's talk about that.
Um, for Sheena, I didn't really gather much from her intro video at all. I don't know how she's gonna play this game. I think I could see her flying into a little bit more of an under the radar situation. But could be wrong on that because I think her intro video was only around 40 seconds long. It wasn't the one that like stuck out to me particularly. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for her. She seems super excited to play. Um, I'm actually gonna watch her intro video again because I want to see if I missed anything. But yeah.
I just wanted to just review her intro video real quick. She gives me cool mom vibes. She like, maybe she shows up to those like PTA meetings at school, but like but she's the fun mom. It's like I don't know just why I get that vibe from her for one. I just think she's gonna be super sweet. I think this is her first game. I don't exactly know where she came from, or how she got into how did
I think she's played before.
oh she has.
I don't know if she has played before or not, but Chrisanne made a note to about like keeping her separate from someone on a starting tribe. So I guess she's played before, I guess with that person.
Yeah, so I'm wrong. I
I
thought
don't
she
know.
was completely.
Maybe they're just friends outside of the game. And
Oh, I think it's the person after this that's new, right? I think the next girl we have, I think is completely new. Am I wrong in that assessment? I think
I don't know.
I think she might be new. I'm not
I was
sure.
about to say because I know that it was just more than one person that was new. But either way, I just yeah, her intro video didn't give me much to gauge like why I think her strategy is going to be here. Apparently she has more experience than I thought she did. I thought this was like her first game. I don't know why I got that air from her, but actually that may be to her benefit. I think that maybe she won't. I, I don't know why I get good vibes from her. Like just something about her. It's like I think she can go far. I think just a hunch. I think when Zach mentioned Kim, or I keep quoting Zach, but like I think me and Zach agree on a lot of things. Um, always, forever. But Kim to him is like Sheena to me. I don't know why. Do I say winner pick? No, but I can't say that with confidence. But I just see longevity with Sheena. I think that she's gonna find herself in a groove, not particularly at the top of any alliance that she's in, but good enough to where she's still benefiting from their moves. Because I think I see a lot of people kind of at the bottom be content with that. Um, overestimating their position in that alliance. And then there's the people kind of at the top of that alliance that are very clearly at the top and either likely on receiving a maybe like a bitter jury situation where like they're burning a lot of people along the way. They're kind of seen as unwavering or unmoving in that situation. I see Sheena kind of in the middle of her alliance, kind of like there being enough room to where she can flip and she can actually benefit from flipping, but also she stays true to her alliance, then she could still actually benefit from the group's overall perception because she's not going to be the first casualty if it's just her group. I don't know why I get that vibe from her. I see, I don't know. I'm rambling off of nothing. I just a hunch, just a gut feeling. I feel good about Sheena.
I don't really know Sheena. I'm excited to see her play.
She likes Squirtle, so period.
That's my least favorite Kanto starter. So she's already
I
kind of going off on a rough foot, but that's just me.
I do agree with you, Jacob. I think that she does give a really good vibe. I think that she's gonna be likable and she's gonna be someone that people don't want to get rid of. And I don't know, again, I don't know what her experience is in these games, but I'm excited to see her play.
She did say in her intro she doesn't really take herself seriously, so um
Yeah.
I do see her making it far. I just don't know if it's a winning type far.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of see either really early for her or like a really good run, like deep. I don't know. She gives those vibes, but there's a lot to gather from how she plays her first couple days of the game that we aren't exactly privy to yet in her intro video. But looking forward to seeing her play, getting good vibes. I agree that I think she could make it deep.
I get like eighth, seventh, sixth, like that
I was getting sixth.
I was getting like that kind of range. Like one of the last people sent home before the final five twist. I don't know why I see her as like a mid juror, but
Yeah.
maybe she could beat those allegations, go further.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just be a bear. She's first boo. I don't know, but like I just get vibes. Anyways, we're gonna move on to this next person. Second to last, we got Taylor. Say things.
She's my winner pick. Don't ask me why. It was just the vibe I got just by watching her intro video and just like I don't know, the interactions she's had with production. Um, she's a huge Survivor fan. Like she goes to the meet and greets. So like she has knowledge of Survivor. But yeah, I'm excited to see her play.
Does she have like is she I know we were just asking, I don't know if she has a lot of experience in orgs. So it's always interesting to see when super fans play how that translates into orgs. So I'm excited for that.
That's the big question is like her work experience is how many games she's played, has she won any? Like that's the big question mark we're trying to get answered.
Looking at her Discord, it doesn't look like she's in any shared servers or has any shared friends with me. But she could be on Facebook side. Who knows? Um, she does give me the energy of like a newer player. Um, I get good vibes from her. Um, it's so difficult with these last couple because especially these last three, I can't really get a read on. Everybody else I'm able to like gather something. I'm not sure where Taylor's gonna end up. I could see her being fun. Um, on her tribe, I don't think she's going to stick out too much. And that's a good thing for her. That's not to her detriment or anything. Um, I think on that fuck shit tribe, there are going to be larger priorities than her. And I could see her working well in an under the radar sort of game where she's building allies over time. But who knows? We will see.
I just remember that she said that if she was on the actual Survivor, she'd trip on a branch, and that's so real. I I would probably trip on nothing. I'd probably trip on a grain of sand if I ended up on Survivor. Um, I get really good vibes from Taylor. Um, I I'm kind of just lost for words at this point. I've been rambling on for almost like 2 hours straight about like every single well, person number 20. We're still not done. We have one more person after this. But I don't know. I am pretty curious to see how experienced or inexperienced she may be on this side of things. I think that I think she's gonna get picked up as a number. I don't see how she's first boot. I see her being active enough to where she's going to be she's going to be fine. I just I'd be really shocked I need to see what unravels for Taylor to be the first boot. I think Taylor's going to be a likable enough of a figure. I think we'll be sociable enough early on. I don't see her getting or stepping on any people's toes or getting in anyone's way. I think that she has some potential. Again, her and this next person, no idea. Although this last person, their name sounds familiar. Like I know that they said they haven't played in a while, but I feel like I've seen this person's name in the ether sometime long ago when I first came on the scene. So I don't know. We'll see how Taylor does.
If you go back where she sent her 2 videos, she sent her first meet me because I just realized she redid one because she set her whole strategy in the first one. And she has she's mentioned her org experience. So she's been playing
Uh,
for, I think she started this year from what I gathered.
Oh,
And
what did
she,
she say her strategy was?
good question, I didn't make it part of that video. But
Okay.
she mentioned that she made it to the final four in one of her games. So
I feel like we had more rookies than I thought. Is it really just Aaliyah? Is that the
I,
only
I
rookie?
I think we have a lot of year one players that started in
Yes,
2024.
Yeah.
but I thought we had more. This is their first game players than just Aaliyah. Like maybe Parker. But I don't know that for sure. But now I'm like, damn, I thought Taylor or Sheena or some of these other people were newer. Maybe that will
Yeah,
add
we
up
have like first, second, third, fourth game
fourth games.
people,
Yeah,
not
last
like
week.
seasoned veterans. We have a couple, but
Like Mike is one of our most seasoned people. Like, and he got his
yeah,
start
I mean he's
here.
timeless.
Yeah, he's timeless. Ours.
so
But
she had mentioned that people could like see her as like this bubbly, nice person, but apparently behind the scenes she was backstabbing and lying.
Okay.
I think I think that honestly that I think that corroborates with my theory. I think that on this tribe specifically, I think she's gonna be the silent assassin. I think it's gonna be like the twist villain, like a Disney twist villain. You know, like Taylor is Bellwether. She's Hans. Like the person that no one's just so unsuspecting, nobody is going to see coming, especially coming from that tribe. I think people may clock Caleb or Caden or these other figures, but I don't think people are going to clock Taylor. I think Taylor's actually going to reap a lot of benefits from coming from a tribe that I think is going to be so strategically based. She plays a little bit dumb, kind of, doesn't really show her handle too much, kind of looks like she's just following the crowd when in actuality she has more agency than perception shows. I think she goes very far.
Wait,
We're
Tyler, right? Are we on Tyler?
we're on
No.
Taylor. We
Is
we
Tyler's last? Are we
yeah.
doing Tyler?
Yes.
Uh, weirdly, after talking about those things, and this might be a really weird stretch, but just thinking about her, seeing her, and what she said about her strategy, she kind of reminds me of current season Survivor Genevieve, if that makes any sense.
I can see.
And if she plays like Genevieve, I fuck with that heavy. But we'll have to see if I'm just doing a random headcanon reach that doesn't have any basis in reality.
I like that one.
We'll see. Now I can't unsee it. Now you mentioned that, and I saw like, oh, Caden is teeny. Now I see Taylor as Genevieve, but I'm like just
Caden
like
Teeny is a wild throw.
I
Oh
don't
my.
know. That was I just was like, oh no. I was thinking like who on this season reminds me of the way I think Caden, what kind of person Caden will play into. Whatever. We're gonna move on to the final person on the cast. We have Tyler. Tyler in Oregon hasn't played a game in a while. He's back.
I don't think he's played a long-term org ever. I think this is his first. Sean and I know Tyler from the sequester days. We used to like hang out on Zoom like all the time. So we know Tyler pretty well. He's really, really likable, extremely down to earth, and I think he I think it just depends on how like he takes the game. I know he's like in general a busy person, but I don't think he would sign up for this if he didn't like have the time to do it. So I see him doing really well. Especially looking at the other people on his tribe. I think he'll be a good balance between like the the quiet, like the quote unquote from our perspective, this seems to be the quieter tribe, but I think he'll be able to connect with people. He's really good at connecting with people. So I think he'll be able to put himself in a good position early on. I hope, because I fucking love him.
Uh, Weirdly, because I just rewatched his intro video, his cadence of speaking and like things he talks about, he reminds me of like if you cloned Caleb. I don't know why, but I feel like they would hit it off. He seems very down to earth and very chill, which is good for his tribe. I think that's what's going to excel on his tribe. Um, I think he seems like a very personable person. I could see him getting along well with mostly everybody on his tribe. I really think that's going to be the Kumbaya tribe. Eva Novo, I think they're all going to be buddy friends with each other. Koala is going to be who fucking knows, and Pancreas is going to be like over the top sensation land. Dear God, message notifications every 30 seconds all day. But yeah, I feel good about him. Um, do I think he's my winner pick or up there? I have to see more of him before I say so, which is funny because I said my winner pick was somebody I knew nothing of. But I don't know. He's another person that I'm like, I don't know how he's gonna play, and I can't give an accurate assessment until I see like even just like an hour of gameplay, I feel like would give me a decent idea of how he's gonna do. But I've seen people like him in the org community, and I've seen how they play, and they normally do pretty well. Um, so yeah, I'm excited for him.
It's like I don't want to like jump the gun and say that he's my winner pick, because I feel like that's very biased of me because I fucking love him and I'm so excited that he's playing. But like I genuinely feel like he has what it takes to be a winner.
I don't know
He
why I
has the
kind of
aspects. Sorry, Jacob. Oh, I was just saying he has all the aspects. He's social, he's physical, and I know he has the strategy
But
to.
saying someone's physical is, I don't think you can necessarily say that yet because we haven't seen him play an org, and org physical is different than IRL physical.
That's true.
yeah, just because he can arm wrestle somebody doesn't mean he can flip cup well. You don't know that. So. But no, Tyler, I watched I had no idea. And my first thought was I need to get this guy out immediately. Like if I saw him out of cast, I'm like, I don't know why I'm scared of this man. I just something about I got that vibe from him just off that one call. I'm like, I just think he has all the like attributes. He possesses all the attributes you need to be a survivor winner. Like if you had to like craft an order, like it would look a lot like Tyler. You know, I that was just my first vibe just watching his video. And just off of just first impressions, I have high hopes for him. I don't know if this kind of like the same thought I had for like Wendell back in Ghost Island. I was like, I want to pick this guy as my winner pick, but he's almost like too perfect. I'm like, people are gonna see that, right? Like, no one's gonna take him to the end, right? They're gonna clock him. And that's kind of the same thing that I'm thinking of with Tyler. I'm just thinking like he's going to make a big threat of himself, or he's going to be like the person to win. I think when Touchy Subjects comes around, he's going to be the person voted for who's going to win this game or who knows who has the most information. Like I think he's going to get one of those types of superlatives and make himself a really big threat. The problem is, will he be able to survive that and make it there? You know, some winners have, but like will he be able to do that? I'm not sure. I don't know why I get that vibe from him. I hate to end it off on a note of like I don't know, but I don't. And I think that concludes it, right? We're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. We're good. All right.
Woohoo!
We made it before midnight. It's still the day before the game starts.
Wait. We forgot the second set of 21 players. It's
Yeah, we
a
actually-
40 it's a 42 player season.
There's a
Oh.
non-zero. Wait, so what should Parker or Dan? I was about to say there's technically someone who could technically be playing, but I think we have everything from people like
Yeah.
action shot wise, or at least the meet me video, so that will
Yeah.
be good to go.
We're good.
I stop
All right.
recording.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Can we?
Bye.
Bye.
Time to
Bye.